ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ हृदाकाशे सदा भान्तं शान्तमानन्दरूपिणं ज्ञानभानुमहं वन्दे सद्गुरुं सत्यसायिनम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सहस्रवृदीयं भूमिः परं व्योम सहस्रवृत् अश्विना भुज्यूना सत्या विश्वस्य जगतस्पति जाया भूमिः पतिर्व्योमा मिथुनन्ता अतुर्यधुः पुत्रो बृहस्पतिरुद्रः सरमा इति स्त्रीपुमं शुक्रं वामन्यजतं वामन्यत् विषुरूपे अहनीद्यौरिवस्थः विश्वाहिमाया अवधस्वधावन्तौ भद्रावां पूषण विहरातिरस्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः offering our collective love at the divine lotus feet of Bhagavan Shri 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 Satya Sai Baba Varu. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Hari Om, Shalom, Sai Ram, Namaste. May we all be together. May we all be nourished together. May we all work together with great vigor. May our studies shine and illumine our intellects. May we not conflict with each other. Let there be peace, peace, and peace. So by virtue of the background, we are back to Arnam, from earth back to the sky. After that incredible, powerful contemplation on who this Dhara is and the glory of her manifestation being part of the infinity in sacrifice for the entire universe. All of this was part of our studying the Aruna Prashna, and it's very much Bhagavan's grace that he diverted us to this beautiful contemplation on the Mother Earth. And as always, to show his presence, yesterday's thought for the day, right after the class, was about sacrifice. Cleanse your instruments of consciousness, devote yourselves to service so that you might weaken the forces of ego and strengthen the forces of unity and cultivate japa and dhyana, repetition of Lord's name and meditation, so that you might rise towards Godhood. These are the steps by which you can earn and establish yourselves in Ananda. Engage yourselves in your duties as intelligently and as devotedly as you can, but carry out your duties as if they are acts of worship offered to God, leaving the fruit of those acts to His will, His grace, His compassion. Do not be affected when the results you anticipate are not produced. Do not anticipate at all. Simply leave it to Him. He gave you the time, the space, the cause, the material, the idea, the skill, the chance, the fortune, and you did but little of your own. Dhanurdharaye vidmahe. So why should you feel as if you are the doer? Do your duty as sincere sadhana. You retain all your bad feelings and offer to me your sweet words. Offer to me all your bad thoughts and take from me my good thoughts. Be aware, be alert. That is a beautiful conclusion to the contemplation on entire aspect of Bhusuktam, summarized in one thought for the day, where he really totally, he gave you the time, the space, the cause, the material, the idea, the skill, the chance, the fortune, and you did but little of your own. This is the bottom line. Dhanurdharaye vidmahe, sarva siddhyai cha dhimahi. That is all siddhis, what he is talking about. Those are the siddhis. Siddhi means that which has manifested in totality, and how many ways the manifestation has happened as his vibhuti is what he described there. And this manifestation that we are talking about, sahasravridiyam bhumihi, param vyoma sahasravrit, ashvina bhujjuna satya, vishvato jagataspati. What a... So when we are looking at that mantra now, that mantra which is number 41, I believe, or 42, 41. 41, yes. So we went through this mantra all the way until Shukram Vamanya Jatam, and then where Jaya Bhumihi Patir Vyomaha, that's when we got into Jaya Bhumi Patihi Vyoma. Jaya, the concept, is Bhumi, Pati, the protector, is Vyoma. All pervading. Vyoma also means space. Vyoma also means sky. Mithunantau aturyathuhu. Mithunam tau aturyathuhu. They are this divine couplet that are manifested. Mithur yathuhu. Jaya bhumihi Patihi Vyoma Mithunanta Aturyathuhu. Mithunam Tau Aturyathuhu. Mithunam means pair. Aturyathuhu means possessed. They are possessing. What are they possessing? Putraha, two sons, as in Brihaspati and Rudra. Sarama iti Stripumam. Sarama is the daughter. The intellect and the fire. In this case, the Rudra, word Rudra refers to as the fire. Brihatpati and Rudra, and the Yajna Vedi, where the Yajna is performed, that is the daughter. The fire is placed, the intellect is illumined. The outcome of the existence of this family is only for the case, again, as a family in sacrifice, bringing forth the cosmic balance. This cosmic balance is the essence of existence of a divine pair. In Sanatana Dharma, why? What is the purpose of getting married? I ask this question to all the young couples now, if they unfortunately invite me to their marriage. Why are you getting married? What is the purpose? Vivaha. Vivaha. Vaha means to bear. Vahanam means that which bears. Vehicle. Vivaha means supreme vehicles. Vehicles of what? The meaning of the word vivaha. Vahanam means vehicle. Vivaha means the supreme vehicle or extolled vehicle. What is the purpose of? That means they are carrying. What are they carrying? They are carrying the responsibility. Responsibility of what? Responsibility of doing the yajna. Responsibility of sacrifice. What is this responsibility of sacrifice? Which is to pay back the indebtedness that you have received through Mother Nature, through all the divine forces, to all your ancestors, to all the fellow beings. 5 different types of yajna, sacrifice, they have to conduct together. And because it's not practical for one person to do it, then there is a partner in divine, not crime. Partner in divine, that is now shared responsibility of conducting this yajna. The moment you understood that, then you do this thing called Pani Grahana. You hold the hands together. You hold the hand. You take steps together. And then you take the oaths together. And then you have the witness of this fire, which is the one that is the eternal witness to your marriage. You see, when you understand all of this stuff about a marriage, you want to get married again to do it properly. No. You have no idea what you have done during the marriage. I have no idea. It was at night 11:30 Muhurtam. I was half asleep. But now, when the awareness dawns and you look at this beautiful, beautiful milestone in life, to be a partner with somebody to carry on this divine work of sacrifice. What is the result of that sacrifice? Putro Brihaspati Rudraha. You will have the lineage that is highly spiritually evolved, and the fire that is responsible for performing the yajna. Sarama, the Vedi, iti Stri Pumam. This is why I got to this. Jaya Bhumi Patihi Vyomaha. Na Satcha, that is the the divine pair invoked as the couplet of Ashwini Devatas. Shukram Vamanyajadatam Vamanyat. Shukram Vamanyadyajatam Vamanyat.
Shukram Vamanyadyajatam Vamanyat.
Yeah, that Dyajatam is a little bit of a tongue twister after the Nya. Nyadyajatam Vamanyat.
Vamanyadyajatam Vamanyat.
Very good. Vishurupe ahani dyaurivasthaha.
Vishurupe ahani Dyaurivasthaha.
Vishwahimaya avathasvadhavantau.
Vishwahimaya avathasvadhavantau.
Bhadravam Pushanaviharatirasthu. Bhadravam Pushanaviharatirasthu.
Bhadravam Pushana Viharatirastu.
Did you learn this mantra before?
Similar.
What's the difference now if you say similar? Then somebody is going back and looking.
Shukrante anya jajatante.
Very good.
Vishrupe ahani dyauri vasi. Vishwahimaya avasisvadhavaha.
Bhadravam. Bhadra. What is the mantra there? Who remembers?
Ratirastviti.
Yeah. You know, you're right on track. Don't get distracted.
Vishwahimaya avasisvadhavaha.
Bhadrate Pushan Niharatirastu.
Bhadrate Pushan Niharatirastu. That is the mantra before. So now that Guru opened, what is the difference between the two? Huh? So much analysis is required. In the first mantra, it is mostly te. Here it is vam. Shukrante anyajajatam te anyat. Instead it is shukram vamanyajatam yajatam vamanyat. Instead of te, it is va. Vishurupe ahani dyaurivasi. Instead, dyaurivasthaha. Vishwahimaya avasisvadha. Vasi, right? Instead of asi, it is vasthaha. Sthaha and va are the main differences. That's it. The rest of it is the same. Why I am mentioning that? So that it will be, you already know the mantra, it will be easy to understand the same context here. So very, very high level, what te means yours, vam means yours also, but in plural. It's a plural because here you are referring to two, a pair, where you are there in the first anuvakam or the second anuvakam, you are referring only to yours, as in the samvatsara. Reference there is samvatsara. Here, the reference is to the earth and the sky and to the Ashwini Devatas, which are the couplet. So, Shukr. So now I mentioned this so that it's easy to learn the mantra. Maybe not. Apologies if I confuse. Shukram Vamanyajatam Vamanyat. One more time. Shukram Vamanyajatam Vamanyat.
शुक्रं वा मन्यद्यजतं वा मन्यत् ॐ शुक्रं वा मन्यद्यजतं वा मन्यत्
One more time.
शुक्रं वा मन्यद्यजतं वा मन्यत्
विषुरूपे अहनीद्यौरिव स्थः
विषुरूपे अहनीद्यौरिव स्थः विषुरूपे अहनीद्यौरिव स्थः
विश्वाहिमाया अवथस्वधावन्तौ
विश्वाहिमाया अवथस्वधावन्तौ विश्वाहिमाया अवथस्वधावन्तौ
भद्रावा पूषणा विहरातिरस्तु
भद्रावा पूषणा विहरातिरस्तु भद्रावा पूषणा विहरातिरस्तु.
Yes. Now you can chant it if you wish, the whole thing. Shukra, all the 4 lines.
Shukram va manyadyajatam va manyat vishurupe ahanidyauривasthaha vishvahimaya avathasvadhavantau भद्रावां पूषणा विहरातिरस्तु.
Since you already know the meaning of this, which we went through very beautifully last time, I won't spend too much, but let's look at the words quickly. Shukram, Vam, Anyat, Yajatam, Vam, Anyat, Vishurupe, Ahani, Dyauh, Iva, Sthaha, Vishwah, Hi, Mayah, Avathah, Swadhavantau, Bhadra, Vam, Pushanau, Iha, Ratihi, Astu. That's it. Those are the words. Now, why this mantra is not used for Shukra Graha? If I ask you the question, where is this mantra from? What will Guru say? Navagraha Suktam. No. The mantra is not from Navagraha Suktam. The mantra is from Aruna Prishna. The mantra is from Aruna Prishna. That is the source of the mantra. It is adapted or used in the context of referring to Shukra Graham because the mantra starts with Shukram. Why this mantra is not used, but the first mantra is used in the context of referring to Shukra Graham? Why? Why? Don't think too hard. It's very simple answers. Why? I already gave you the answer.
Couplets.
Couplet.
Ah.
Pair. Because pair
Ah,
is referred.
yeah, here a pair is referred, there it is only singular, therefore that mantra is used. That's it. So why I keep on emphasizing this? To unlearn our association with objects. This is the spiritual principle. If you look at something only in reference to an object, you're stuck with the object. You have to relinquish the ability to just look at the object, but to go inside and look at the subject. And the moment you start giving up the object as it is associated with the name, form, and the functionality, then what you see is the actual essence of that object. And that essence of the object is one and only one. What is different between objects is their names, their forms, and their functions. That is the reason why I keep bringing this up. Again, as I said, where will they use? See, the incredible thing about Hindu Dharma, now I am calling Hindu, the ritual aspect of the Hindu Dharma, most of the Veda is about, I would say more than 90% or 80+% of the Veda is all ritual mantras. They're all the mantras. But the Brahmanas, the supreme teachings that take us into them, they are the most powerful, because now while teaching that ritual, they constantly bring us back to the spirit. What is the essence of this? What is underneath it? Go back, look at the underneath this, not the object, not the name, form, and function. Go beneath that, go underneath that. That is what's called understand that. Understand that. This is what is called mananam. And the moment means contemplation, understanding, dhimahi, retaining, meditating. I can use so many words for that. Shukram vam. Vam anyat shukram. Vam anyat yajatam. Among your forms, one is the day, the other is the night with a dark hue. That is what is the meaning, same meaning as before. There the your refers to singular, here your refers to plural. How funny the English language is. They can't distinguish between one and many. That is the whole problem. But in Sanskritam, there is a complete clarity. The your, is it singular or plural? If it is te, it is singular. If it is warm, it is plural. So there is no confusion. Intellect is clear. If I say amongst your forms, how do you know whether it is singular or plural? The your. How do you know? You will not know. Therefore, there is no clarity. Language should have totality of clarity. That's the reason why Sanskritam is such an amazing language. 640 million books or compositions or whatever it is. The phonetics, everything associated with the construction, the phonetics, nothing changes. There is nothing either silent, nothing that is not obvious. Everything in that language is amazingly clear. Unfortunately, this body never learned Sanskritam. It did not get the opportunity to do that. So here it is saying, among your forms, one is the day and the other is the night. And the day is Shukram, means it is illumined or white, Shukram. And the other one is the dark hue. Vishurupe ahani dyauh iva sthaha. Both of you, Vishurupe, they sthaha means steady. What Vishurupe ahani dyauh iva sthaha. You, however, while there is manifestation of the so-called day and dark, white and dark, referring to the day and night, you don't change. You are the same. The earth doesn't change, nor the sky doesn't change. They don't change. They don't change their colors. What is changing the colors then? What is changing the colors? Both of you are steady as the sun. Vishurupe ahani dyauh iva sthaha. Sthaha, you are steady. You don't change. So therefore, this appearance of the day and the night, even though you are not changing, it appears to be changing. That is what is called the Maya of the universe. Vishwa Himaya. Himayah, Vishwah, Avathaha, due to the Maya in the universe. See how a simple phenomenon, what is changing, what is not changing. What is actually the changeless in the changing. So what is change is Maya. What is changeless is steady, Satya. This is the simplest way of looking at it. If something changes, it is Maya. Either it is an error, again, Maya doesn't mean not real, Maya, not perception-wise. Perception-wise, Maya is two types. I went through this in some other class very clearly. One is an error, other is a delusion. Two things about Maya. One is error, other is delusion. Clear-cut examples of those. Vishwa Himaya Avasis Swadhavantau. Swadhavantau. This Maya is the one that is responsible for what? Nourishment and Poshanau. It is also responsible for existence. But this is the same thing, Devi Mahatyam, no? Samsara Sthitikarina. For the existence and the nourishment of this universe or the creation, Maya is what is important and it is essential. Ihavam Bhadra Ratihi Astu. May we be therefore blessed by both of your auspicious Bhadra Ratihi, benevolence, Astu, may that be here. So it's like a beautiful prayer, the prayer associated with the existence of the Mother Earth and the Dyauh, the sky. So this mantra is a repetition for the mantra 7 in Anuvakam 2, 7.6 to 7.9, essentially speaking in Anuvakam 2. However, the reference here is the Vam, and also it is reference to, instead of Asi, it is a Sthav. If you are present, it is Asi. If dual is present, it is Sthaha. Okay, very good. Okay, chant this mantra one more time and let's get the blessings to move on to what happens next.
Om Shukram va manyadya jatam va manyat Vishurupe ahani dyaurivasthaha Vishvahimaya अवथस्वधावन्तौ भद्रावा पोषणा विहरतिरस्तु
Okay. वासात्यौ 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 चित्रौ
वासात्यौ चित्रौ
जगतो निधानौ
जगतो निधानौ
द्यावा भूमि चरथस्
द्यावा भूमि चरथस्
सगुं सखायौ
सगुं सखायौ
यौ. See, au should be, the lips should come together. Yau.
यौ.
I, au. So for pronunciation of the vowels should be completely phonetic in nature. Nothing should be left of pronunciation. Everything is explicitly pronounced. That is why it's called a phonetic language. Completely phonetic. Everything has to be heard. There is no silence stuff. We don't silence anything in Mother Nature. Everything is explicit. Open book. No secrets. वासात्यौ चित्रौ जगतो निधानौ द्यावा भूमि चरथः सगुं सखायौ वासात्यौ चित्रौ जगतो निधानौ
वासात्यौ चित्रौ जगतो निधानौ
See now how beautiful it sounds. When the vowels are completely pronounced, it is very sweet because it brings that totality of closure. That's why Telugu and Italian are the sweetest languages. They are the most sweetest languages because every word concludes with an vowel. So therefore, it sounds very beautiful. That's why many great poets, even though their mother tongue was not Telugu, composed in Telugu so that they can bring the beauty of expression. So that is why here, when you hear that, Vasa atyau chitrau jagato nidhanau.
वासात्यौ चित्रौ जगतो निधानौ.
Now there, because it is au, o, au, that's how each word is ending. So you have to give the duration also so that it's more musical in nature. Dyava bhumi charatha sagum sakhayau.
द्यावा भूमि चरथः सगुं सखायौ.
Just listening to the vibration itself is so beautiful. When you are present to the vibration itself, it gives totality of presence. You are present to that sound. That's why it is Shabda Brahman. If you miss the duration and all those things, the vibration is not complete. So these two couplets are very much appropriate to the meaning also of the mantra, which we will look at in a while. Vasa atyau chetrau jagato nidhanau Dyava bhumi charatha sagum sakhayau.
वासात्यौ चित्रौ चित्रौ जगतो निधानौ द्यावा भूमि चरथः सगुं सखायौ.
Your yow, ow, a sound is ow. A, I, ow, o, ow. A, I, o, ow. Ow. O. Lips should come together. And the sound should go like you are whistling. Vasatyau. Very simple. All the words are very clear. Vasatyau, Chitrau, Jagataha, Nidhanau, Dyava, Bhumi, Cha, Rathaha, Sam, Sakhayau. Vasatyau, amenable for living. Vasati, Vasa means to stay or to be. That is what it is. Vasati. You see, no? There is a word Vasati. Vasati Gruham means house that is amenable for living. Not all houses are amenable for living. There's a difference between you live in a house and you live in a home. There's a difference. If you say my home is somewhere, it is different. My house is, what's your house address, people ask. I don't live in a house because I'm not a mouse. Only mouse lives in a house. This is Vasati, that which is amenable for living. What is amenable for living? Vasavi is amenable for living. Yesterday we know. Bhumi Bhusuktam, Vasavi. So Vasatyau here it is referring to the Mother Earth, which is amenable for living. Not only amenable for living, Chitrau, beautiful, picturesque. Chitra in Sanskritam doesn't mean wonder. This is another mistake people make. Chitra in Telugu or other languages may mean Chitra mean wonder, but Chitra even in Telugu also is not wonder. Chitra means a picture, a beautiful picture. Chitraha. So Chitrau. What is filled with this? It's filled with not only amenable for living, but filled with the beautiful, picturesque Mother Nature. Chitrau. Jagataha Nidhanau. Jagataha, Jagat here is the world. Nidhanau, which is the basis. Making this Jagat, the universe, amenable for living, filled with this beauty. Dyava Bhumi, the heaven and the earth are like Sakhayau, very good friends. Some Charathaha, some also. Charathaha, also. Cha means also. Rathaha, some Sakhayau. Ratha means chariot. So there are two that are pulling this chariot. Wow. What a beautiful, what a beautiful way of describing friendship. If chariot is the vehicle, Vivaha, Vahanam, you're all thinking, when I start the preamble, you're all thinking, oh, he's just talking out of something, just some blabber he is talking about. How is this related to the next mantra? But if you listen to that carefully, you will connect to the rest of the mantra very clearly, because what I do in the beginning is an executive summary of everything that we are going to cover in that class. Executive summary. So I started with what? Vivaha, partnership, two friends, carrying vehicle, Ratha, Sakha, partners, Sakhayav, partners. And so they are the two that are pulling this chariot together, or the cart together, bullock cart. Now this is very important. In the Vivaha, in the marriage ceremony, in the Hindu Vivaha, not all Vivahas, not all marriages, in the Hindu Vivaha, and that too only probably mostly in Telugu Vivaha, not even all the Vivahas, they bring this yoke. Yoke means when the bullock cart, the two ox are tied together with the same wooden beam. They'll put the wooden beam on the top of the two ox, and they are tied together with this thing that would go straight to the guy who is now riding the bullock cart, and they bring that yoke during Telugu weddings. And then through the whole of that yoke, mantras are chanted, and divine water with darbha is poured on the bride's head. And this bridegroom is requesting, praying to this lady, we are now going to be together as two ox that pull the cart together. May we be together, contained by this divine yoke. And the divine yoke is the divinity that connects both of us. What now, as I said, listening to all this, you may feel I want to get married again because I didn't experience any of this stuff. Now, because they can't bring that entire yoke for the weddings, now the Purohit will bring one stick with a hole in it, and then they pour the water through that. That's okay. At least the principle is what is important, the spirit of it. So that is what is being described here. Dhyava bhumi ratha samsakhayav. They're pulling this chariot together, and they have to be completely in balance. What is creating that complete steadiness between them? This yoke. What is that yoke? That is the divinity. What is this chariot they're pulling? Samsara, in which they are carrying all their responsibilities together. I don't know about you all. Whenever we get into this, what an incredible. So the mantra is not only teaching the divine aspect of this couplet, but it is also at the same time teaching practical spiritual living. Which mantras or which scriptures have that type of integrated vision that brings the society, the spirit, the collective nature, the partnership? Where is that present? Vasa atyau chetrau jagato nidhanau dyava bhumi charatha sagum sakhayam. Okay. The cart aspect is done. Now then the shift to this chariot of these Ashwini Devatas is what is described now. Tavashvina Rasabhashva Havam me Shubhaspati Agatagum Suryaya Saha. Yes. Tavashvina Rasabha Ashvahavam me
तावश्विना रासभा आश्वाहवं मे तावश्विना रासभा आश्वाहवं मे
शुभस्पति आगतगुं सूर्यया सह Shubhaspati, right? That's the way it is. Shubhaspati, Shubhaspati, Agatagum Suryaya Saha.
शुभस्पति आगत
Agatagum, Agatagum, like that. Okay.
शुभस्पति आगतगुं सूर्यया सह शुभस्पति आगतगुं सूर्यया सह
तावश्विना रासभा आश्वा हवं मे शुभस्पति आगतगुं सूर्यया सह
तावश्विना रासभा आश्वाहवं मे शुभस्पति आगतगुं सूर्यया सह तावश्विना रासभा आश्वाहवं मे शुभस्पति आगतगुं सूर्यया सह
Tau Ashwina becomes Tavashwina. Tau Ashwina Rasabhashva Havam me Shubhaspati Agatam Suryaya Saha. Very simple. Straightforward. Tau, that couple that we are referring to in the previous mantra, is like Rasabha Ashwa. Rasabha means donkey. Ashwa means a horse. I'm giving the literal meaning. Ashwina, of these Ashwini Devatas. Agatam, may they arrive. Shubhaspati, for bestowing auspiciousness, the masters of the protectors of auspiciousness. Suryaya Saha, along with their consort. Surya, along with Surya. Here Surya is not the sun. Surya is the consort of Ashwini Devatas. Havam me, to this yajna of ours, to this offering of ours. So in essence, what is this mantra saying? The mantra is saying, just like the divine couple that is invoked, this couplet of the Ashwini Devatas, may they come to our yajna, havam, to our sacrifice, in their chariot that is pulled by donkey and a horse, along with their consort, Surya, to bestow upon us auspiciousness. Simple. Done. Shall we move on? What is this donkey and horse and this chariot and all this stuff? Okay. Sometimes it's very difficult to It feels like, this class may go on for a few years at this rate, But that means what? People will lose interest. Arey yaar, we just want quick fixes in life. If it is more than 3 minutes, I don't have any attention. This is hours and hours and hours. This is like a cricket match that never ends. We just want a 20-over match to be done in 2 hours. Any rate, so this Ashwini Devatas, the best hours of this auspiciousness and healing, we are praying for their arrival to this yajna in this chariot, along with their consort Surya. So the word Ashwa is very clear. That's why they're called Ashwini Devatas. Their golden chariot is symbolic of swift movement, and the interesting thing here is, how can a horse be there, or how can be a chariot there that is pulled by a donkey along with a horse? One is a donkey, other is a horse. Horse has much swifter movement. Why did they associate the chariot to be pulled by Rasabha, Rasabha, the donkey, and a horse? For this, I really had to do a lot of research into this. So the net of this is, it is a symbolism of two things. When you want to go down on a steep hill, and that is at a very high altitude, do you use a horse? Hello? Do you use a horse? Here you are all, is somebody here from Phoenix? No. Grand Canyon, how do you go into the canyon? Using a horse. Pina, what do you use? Unmute her.
A donkey.
Donkey. A mule is what you use. A donkey is what you use. You don't use a horse. Because the horse will not have the stamina of containing its lung power when going down at that. This thing will slip. But the donkey is a lot more sturdy. That is one aspect of it. So this, and the second aspect of it is, these Ashwini Devatas are in the scriptures described to have supreme healing powers. And their healing powers are not just limited to only to the elite people. There are several beautiful mythological stories where they have rescued. We will come to those maybe perhaps later. So this aspect of it is symbolic to give this thing, that the horse for the speed on a regular terrain, and a donkey or a mule that is very important for very hard terrains that would require go deep into the valleys, and therefore that is what is representing as the symbolism associated with this. Similarly, in our own life, if you look at this incredible pairing that happens by divine grace, one person in the husband or the wife, one of them will be extremely aggressive, too fast. Other one is very sturdy, steady, balanced, takes the time, has the patience. Both are required to run the life. Not just one. If both of them are aggressive, type A personalities, and running so fast, for sure that thing is going to fail. Only complementarity will get you through life. And that difference that exists in the two personalities is a blessing. It's not something to be worried about and something to be critical about. Be blessed that one is a donkey and the other is a horse. Then only life will have the balance. That is the symbolic, spiritual, practical spiritual learning. Slow, steady, sturdy versus fast, swift. Both are required. Now this thing called Surya. The Surya is believed to be the daughter of sun god mythologically. And so therefore, she is the consort of this Ashwinis. Now what you will notice, and we will be more confused down the line when we talk about other different pairs. I won't get into that right now, but so the Ashwinis are the ones that arrive in the morning before sunrise. The Ashwini Devatas come first before the sun hits the horizon. And therefore it is believed that if you wake up in the morning before the sunrise and you face the very first rays of sun, they give healing, supreme healing, not only to the eyes, to the skin, to the immune system. And that is because of natural production of vitamin D in the body, whose synthesis in the body is much more enhanced with the first rays of the sun, not the burning rays of the sun. We go for walking at morning 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock when the sun is fully out there, and then we have to apply sunscreen and all these things because that sun rays burns with UV, whereas these rays are healing rays. So the Ashwinis are the ones that bring that healing. So the mantra that is referring to as the golden chariot represents the beautiful healing golden color of the chariot that is the Ashwinis are raising. And this is 100% synchronous with how recent discoveries in medicine with all different types of vitamin D analogs that have become cure for cancer in multiple ways, especially related to skin and immune system, etc., etc. But natural healing occurs when you get exposed to the very first rays of the sun, and it's the best time also to experience in meditation the arrival of Bhagavan. So there are 4 more lines to complete this mantra. We are only already 4 minutes over. Okay. There is no class next Saturday. Yes, no, next Saturday there is no class. Next Sunday we will have class. If some of you don't mind, we will have the practice on Wednesday and the practice will be primarily focused on Bhusuktam. Should we complete these 4 lines, sir? What do you think, or we'll stop here? Because I have to ask again, the problem is for 1 hour is the bandwidth of people's time and learning. Shama, your call. Please say.
We can continue on Sunday, I think.
Okay, he has to go to Gurdwara for. Is that correct? You have to go to Gurdwara.
At 11, yeah. I was
At
thinking, yeah.
Okay, we'll continue next Sunday. So that's his final call. Okay, because the next concept is a very, very beautiful concept, and let us not rush into that. So we'll pause here, okay? And you can chant Yadakshara Padabhrashtam.
ॐ यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देव नारायण नमोऽस्तु ते विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व ईश्वर अपराधसहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासोऽयमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व ईश्वर अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष ईश्वर हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्री ईश्वरार्पणमस्तु.
Okay. Any questions?
Sairam.
Yes, Sairam.
Thinking of donkey, I mean, I get this image of the Devi. I think one of the Navadurga, Kalaratri, is depicted sitting on a donkey or a mule. So I was just wondering, what does that signify? Devi sitting on the donkey.
Yeah, these vehicle stories are very inspiring. Huh? Vahana, that which carries. So here the difference is donkey is not a vehicle for the Ashwini Devatas. It is what is pulling the chariot. The horse and the chariot are pulling this thing. So it's not necessarily the Vahana is not what is Vahana? Vahana means vehicle. Vahana, again, as I mentioned, Sanskritam is so beautiful because every word also explains the functionality. You don't have to second guess. Vaha means to bear. Vahana means that which bears. See, simple. No language has that capability. If you hear the word, automatically it doesn't connect you to the meaning. So, the question you're asking is, what is the significance of the donkey as being a Vahana for which Devi?
Kalaratri, I guess.
Where did you see that? In Devi Mahatyam, it is written like that.
No, not in Devi Mahatyam.
Okay. If it is outside of some of the Vidyas, I don't have exposure to that. So answer is simply, I don't know why Kalaratri has a donkey as the Vahana, because I haven't studied it. I'm not aware of it. So, okay. But generally speaking, even these Vahanas have a beautiful spiritual meaning connected to them. And Swami has explained very beautifully several of them. For example, let's start with Ganapati. Who is his Vahana? Who is his vehicle?
Rat.
Mouse. Is it a rat, mouse, whatever? Okay. What's the name of him? No, 90% won't know. Mushika. They say they're Mushika. This is the incredible answer I get. Every time I ask, what is the name of that? They say Mushika. I say, what is your name? Wait. What is your name? I ask. They say, human. What is your name? Human. Mushika means a mouse or a rat. And India is the name of that vehicle. And India. Now, there is a logic flaw here. I explained this during the time of Ganesh Chaturthi story. The logic flaw is a guy with such a big belly, so fat, elephant head and all those things, how can a simple mouse or a rat carry him? It will become chapta. It will become like a chapati if he sits on it. So it doesn't make any damn sense that a mouse is a... Now, simply, you look at that and then, in fact, my son, when he was very young, he came and asked me, hey, Michael in my class is making fun of me. All you Hindus go to zoos. There is this elephant god sitting on a mouse, and there is this fearful woman, she's sitting on a lion. And what is this guy sitting on a bull? And another guy sitting on peacock. This temple is like a zoo. All of you guys worship animals. What should I tell him? He was very upset. Very long time story. It's back to San Jose days. I had to tell him, let me Google and find out. Now you can use Chat GPT to find the answer. Swami explained very beautifully the significance of it. In fact, I used to joke, what do you use for browsing the internet? What do you use for browsing the internet on your computer?
A mouse.
Mouse. And Ganesh had a mouse that helps browsing the internet. And that mouse has a unique property. Mouse is a nocturnal thing. It can move very swiftly during night. So in darkness, you require the vehicle that is required to move very swiftly. And that is what is significant of. And the one who is using that mouse represents the combination of a vehicle that is very swift for a guy who can't move very properly. His movement is very slow. The movement of the vehicle is very fast. Now you should do this exercise yourselves. Do this exercise yourselves for every god that you know. And if you know their vehicle, ask the question, how does that vehicle make sense in the context of that god, goddess, or whoever? Do this exercise, homework. For example, why is lion for Durga? Why is Hamsa for Saraswati? Why bull for Shiva? Why Garuda for Narayana? Now, all the Hindus, please do this exercise. Non-Hindus, forget about it. This exercise is not for you. Your God is very stable. They don't move. And there is only one God, and you don't have to worry about And the problem is only with these Hindus. They have too much to figure out. They really have too much to figure out. So figure it out. And ask the question, why does that make sense? Just we went through one example. Inner significance of a Vahana for a god. What is the significance? I won't go into the detail of that. Now, this Kalaratri thing I have to look into, Kana. So the fact that you said Kalaratri, Vahana, if you can send me where you read it and what is the reference to that, I can look into that.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sairam. Okay.
Sairam Shekhar garu. Namaskaram. Sairam Shekhar.
Sairam, sir.
Sir, I have probably the Ganapati, before I ask my question, here when you, what do you call, bro? Ganapati's Vahana indicates the control over mind or something, or the control over the desires.
Yeah, there are all kinds of interpretations, sir. Again, mind is related to ignorance, mind related to darkness, mind that is confused, all of that stuff. That is all the...
Okay, sir, my question actually is not about that issue. My question is coming back to the Arunam 41. What 41 and 42 partly. Here, we are talking about Ashwini Deva and celestial and terrestrial connections. But when we apply this back to Yada Pinde Tada Brahmande, shall I call this Ashwini Devatas as inhalation and exhalation, and horse, which is indicated as the mind or the manasu controlling the thing, which is chanchalam, like that. And can it be a sort of comparable things between these two? When you just, because generally everything we have to compare to Yadha Pinde, Tada Brahmande, that's what trying to say in that concept. I just wanted to say.
Explain that for me. What is Yatha Pinde, Yatha Brahmande? What do you understand by that?
What as we are comparing everything to our human, this one. Yadha Pinde, Tada Brahmande means whatever you are seeing in this Brahmandam, you are comparing to your human physical activities, which are Panchendriyas, Pancha Granendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, Manasu, Buddhi, Ahankar, all these aspects.
Yes. So, in essence, what you are asking is, how are these Ashwini Devatas? What is the relevance of Ashwini Devatas? Their relationship to this Pinda, meaning this individual self. How do I understand their relation? Is that the question? Am I understanding the question?
Yes.
Yes. So the Ashwini, as you already mentioned, relates to the horse, right? That is, they got their name Ashwini related to the horse. And if you look at the mantras in Rigveda, there is a suktam called Ashwini Suktam, a complete suktam on the Ashwini Devatas. When you go into the deeper significance of that, what they represent really is vitality within the body. And this vitality and which is resulting, they're not necessarily related to the breath aspect of it. The vital presence within ourselves is this thing related to the Ashwinis. And the symbolic nature of this is that the Chakshu Surya Ajayata, Purusha Suktam says, the Surya that is represented to is related to our vision, our ability to see. And the Surya also represents Jnana Bhaskara, the intellect within us. So that which comes before your thought process, that actually guides the thought process, that guides that vitality within us, symbolically represents that Ashwini Devatas. And in the context of that and relationship to this chariot, there are times when you have to take swift decisions. There are times when you have to take, thoughtful or decisions in awareness, in slowness. You cannot rush. So therefore, all this symbolically, the chariot, this is my what we call as what I am perceiving as myself. There can be a lot of other interpretations. So when you have the steadiness, the purity, the swiftness before even your thought arises, that brings vitality, purity, energy, healing, all those things to our lives practically. So you think, so you are. Yatha Pinde Tada Brahmande. Okay. If your vision is based on proper introspection and sometimes swiftness, then you will perceive the whole outside in a similar way. Yatha Pinde Tatha Brahmande. Okay. Saira. Thank you. Any other question? That's my perception. There could be a lot of other interpretations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Saira. Yes. Any other questions? Okay.
So
yeah, go ahead.
One question about the consort of Ashwini, the Ashwini Devatas. It's the Surya. How is that? There are two of them.
Yeah. In for example, there is John Smith Jr. and his father is John Smith Sr. They have the same names. How is it possible?
Yeah.
How is it possible? So what will happen is, in traditionally, they'll name either the parents with the junior, senior suffixes, or sometimes they will your grandfather also. So if your grandfather's name, is given to you, your grandmother, because she can't call you by her husband's name, will call you some Bujji, Jijji, Chitti, Potti, all that kind of stuff. Then you got the point. So having a name associated with a parent or a grandparent, how can is not the question. It is what they do. So you can't say why. How come she has the same name? Oh no, not like that. How come you have the same name as Krishna? How come? Because it's a beautiful name.
Oh, I was wondering why there are two people and they only have one consort.
Oh, that is also socially acceptable. What do you know about Pandavas? Hello. Here it
Yeah,
is only
five.
five. Yeah. Why Pandavas has five of them have one wife? Why? Oh, this is a spiritually much more deeper answer to that. For that, you have to know the entire Mahabharata, how it is an incredibly dharmic thing, that it is very inspiring. Yes, it will be more confusing, as I said, for the next set of mantras about this whole lineage and all of that stuff. I'll come to that when we address that. Okay. Is it answered?
Thank you, Uncle.
Yeah. And a pair doesn't necessarily mean just a wife and a husband. Pair can be also two people working together. That is also socially acceptable. So Vedas have figured all of this out long time ago. What we are talking as today's social justice or whatever, Vedas have accepted long time ago. So now who says, who thinks? Only ignorant people think that Vedas are some blind beliefs, and all these Hindus are, it is true, Hindus are doing this blindly. That statement is correct. 99% of the Hindus have no clue what they're chanting, what they're doing, why they're doing, how they're doing. All of that is a true statement. That's called blindness. But it is blindness in faith, right? That blindness in faith is what protects also. Now we won't go into that aspect. Okay. I think somebody posted, oh yeah, so this question is already answered. How come? Okay. This question is already. Yeah.
So I have a question. You said Ashwini Devatas are also sons of Surya, right? Surya and sun.
Correct. Now that's exactly what I'm saying. How can they marry their sister?
They're not married. No, you said it is a concert, right? Partner.
Yeah, no. Marry, partner, whatever it is. How can, if these two Ashwini Devatas, the couplet, are sons of Surya or lineage of Surya, how can they marry another daughter of Surya, right? That is the question, actually. When it comes to the relationship understanding with respect to gods and demigods, etc., our social principles do not apply to them. These social principles of marriage, all of that stuff was created by Manu. It's called Manusmriti. That is the Hindu Dharma. That Hindu Dharma applies as per Manusmriti. Gods and goddesses and all these divine entities, they are not bound by any of those Manusmriti principles that are applied to the society of how we live.
Okay.
You understand? Why they don't apply? The next question is, how come, Anna? I mean, they don't have principles of living. Gods and goddesses, they don't have principles of living. No, they're not driving Teslas, no traffic lights, no crime. Where all your society principles, they don't apply to that society, right? It's a different loka. It's a different world. It's a different realm of existence, and they're beyond the principles of law and order applied to humanity. So we should not try to apply what we know, what is applicable to us, to all others also. Spiritual learning, huh? Spiritual learning.
Thank you, Na.
Don't project what you think is right as it applies to all others and judge them, especially divine beings. Supposing, even in the case of this, lot of people ask that question, some Gunda minister, completely outright, what we call as criminal, whatever, comes to Puttaparthi and sits. Swami goes and talks to him. What's your immediate response? Arey man, the Sai Baba is all for rich people, you know, and socially and political leaders and all of that stuff. So immediately what you're thinking, you apply what you know about that guy and impose that on Bhagavan and thinks that Bhagavan also is now giving scope to. Is that correct or not correct? No, you tell me, Baji.
No, Na. That's
Why
not.
is it not correct?
Swami, same for everyone, right? Swami.
That is true. That is true. But okay, that is true. Swami is same for everyone. He doesn't distinguish. But the question people asked me, sir, how come, sir, Sat Sai Baba only all these rich people and all these people they get attention and other people? Huh? Is that not a perception amongst non-Sai devotees? If there are any on this forum, is that not a perception?
Yeah, our preconceived notions are trying to.
Yes. You know from what your knowledge base is about that person. But what you do not know is what you do not know about that person. The all-knowing one knows much beyond what you know. So if you go and ask him that question, he will probably give you the answer. And there are several examples of that in Swami's life. One time Swami, this is written in Tapovanam. Swami was in Mumbai. He was at a hotel. And then Swami Karunyananda was also in the same, not hotel, some place, but Swami Karunyananda was also in the same place. And then Swami Karunyananda was watching out of his window and he saw in this Mumbai slum children that were picking food from a garbage can and then trying to get the food out of it and eat. And his heart melted and he started thinking, oh my God, I am here with Swami and right underneath him is this thing happening. This is so atrocious. I mean, how come God is there and all of this is happening? And he was very disturbed. And then suddenly he noticed a hand on his shoulders, looked back, Swami was there. And he asked, oh, Swami, the door is closed. How did you come in? Huh? Swami, the door is closed. How did you come in? For God, a closed door is a hindrance. Then Swami said, look, I understand your agony. You are looking at them from your point of view, right here and now. But if I tell you what their past lives are and how they lived their lives and what karma they have done to go through this current circumstance, then as a God, you will not interfere with it because they have to exhaust that karma. They have to live the fruits of their actions and God will not interfere with it. Now you see? Now you see the difference? So what I'm trying to say is, this human relationships and human perceptions and all those things are applicable to human society. Yes, we should not marry our own sister. That is a law that is applicable to us. But when it comes to divine nature, they are not in any marital relationship to begin with anyway. For devatas, there is no marital relationship. There is no family lineages, all of that stuff in bondage. But for us, it is in bondage. for them it is in service, and that is for them it is in only reason it exists for them is for sustenance and for the existence and for the protection of the universe. Jai Sai Ram. Okay, it's a long answer to a short question. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One,
Yes.
sorry, one. So this pairing we came across in Pradhanika Rahasyam also, where if I recollect, this pair is done for specific functionality. So whatever you just summarized, yeah, the pairs of the gods and the goddesses is done for that specific.
Yeah, it is how it is done in the context of that. I explained that what he's talking about is in the Rahasyam, in the Rahasya Trayam of Devi Mahatmyam, there is a description of Pradhanika, primordial aspects of it. When the mother decided to bring forth the three gunas, manifest as gunas, and then the three gunas come out as Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati, and that is a beautiful insight into that, where she gives the names, the forms, the functions, the what we call it, the instruments, the weapons to do their work, everything. Every one of them has a total symbolic significance. That is what, so in the same context, the intent with which we are created brings forth what is required for our own functionality in the society. So there the pairing is not like, okay, now you pair, so therefore you two are related to a wife and husband, nothing like that. It's not a pairing for wife and husband. It is a pairing to carry out the mission related to their name and their form. Okay. Sairam.
Anna, these celestial beings, they don't have body either, right? They are in the light form.
Yes, that is true. Then why do they have a vehicle? Why do they have a chariot? So you ask a question, you get a question back.
I always get a question back.
No, not you. Generally, I don't answer a question with an answer. I always ask the question so that other person and you are on the same page. You are not even in the zip code. So, Narasimham, anta okay na? All good?
Yeah, all good. And
Yeah. So you have a lot of catch up to do with
Yeah.
Arunama.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Sairam. So the answer to that question is yes, but all of this is symbolism. The moment you come to the symbolic aspect of it, how it applies to your own self and how it applies to our own practical spiritual living, it becomes much more clear. Okay, Sairam. That's it. Don't overanalyze. Be happy. Jai Sairam. Swastif Prajabhyah Paripalyantam. Okay, Narasimham garu. Swastif Prajabhyah.
ॐ स्वस्तिः प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्याय्येन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शांति शांति शांति। जय बोलो भगवान श्री